Welcome back, guys. I'm real excited today. Today is the day I believe I'm going to be able to put this back together. Before I dive in, I want to talk about one thing that just kind of dawned on me. I didn't look anything else up on this, but where we've been left off at, where we've been hung up, is this hose here that goes this way through here. And I've been saying all along, as I've stated in all these videos, I'm not an expert. I've never worked on one of these furnaces before, and I don't know. But I've been saying I thought that hot air came from here and it was pulled through here to get into the blower area and then circulate. And I was sitting there and I'm thinking the other night, like literally just kind of laying there thinking, and it dawned on me that this blower spins, it's pulling air from the other side. We've only seen that side a couple times. There's just a vent on there. It's pulling air in from there, and then it's pushing it into this main body where we have this spot in here, which is the encased area that heating element is, that burner and that igniter is. And it dawned on me that as that motor's spinning, it's not pulling air this way. It's actually pushing it. So the air intake on the other side, and it's coming here. So exactly what's happening. So this airflow actually goes this direction. Some of you guys know this already, but for everybody that's just kind of watching this video and never really worked on one of these furnaces, I had the flow wrong. This hose is actually going to pull air this direction in. It goes into where that burner is, and that's where we go from a small pilot light and that little burner to feeding it oxygen and getting it flowing. So this hose won't hold heat, or I mean it shouldn't hold much heat. There shouldn't be much heat to it. But what is important is to be close to the specs, and this is just my interpretation, because that's an airflow situation, and it's an air to, an oxygen to propane mixture and whatnot. So you want to be pretty darn close. So that helps a little bit with our information. You know that you don't have to have a high heat hose, at least I wouldn't believe so. Don't mark my words for that. I'm not an expert. But that you do need a hose similar in diameter. This is a 1 1/4 inch hose. I've been hunting all around to figure out how to replace this. You guys know from my previous video I had a radiator hose. Very, very rigid. It didn't really want to make that bend. I've been trying to figure it out. I've been looking on the internet. I've been going into stores. And finally, I found a forum that was talking about these furnaces. And what other guys have done? I'm not a mechanic. I don't work on cars. I didn't know what this was. I've not heard of it. A preheater hose. So I ordered this one off Amazon. It's only like $7. A preheater is a flexible hose. It's aluminum. And this is nice. I don't have to cut it down or anything because it expands. It starts at like 9 inches, and this goes up to like 20 inches or 27 inches or something. So this will work great for us. This is 1 1/2 inch diameter, so it's slightly bigger. But we should be able to squeeze it down on each fitting and get this to fit. I don't foresee issues there. Like I said, it's a little bit bigger, but I don't think that's going to have a large effect. I'm hoping it doesn't on things. And it should hold out pretty good. So what is a preheater hose? I looked it up, and essentially it goes from the air intake in a car to the exhaust, somewhere in the exhaust. And I don't think it's a requirement, although in some states where you have strict emissions laws, it might affect it. But it basically, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, it pulls some warm air into the engine. So it's something that helps your engine be more efficient, warm up quicker. It's not a requirement on cars. So it's a very nice little lightweight aluminum hose. So let's go ahead and hook that up. I always personally like to start with my more difficult tasks. So I'm starting on this end, trying to get this one on, get it, get the angle, get it bent in there, and then I'll get the one that's got a little more clearance and space to it. All right, that is well over top of that line, that area. You know what, let me see if I can find the right socket instead of the flat tip screwdriver on that. That'll probably make it go a little easier. Okay, 5/16 seems to be the magic number here. I probably should move this down on this line near the end. I don't want to crimp it or get too close to the edge of this hose. Alright, so I just pulled that back. That is absolutely going to be over top of it. we're in good shape there. Now my concern is if I'm puncturing that or not. No, but that's actually not on that sleeve. I'll try this again. So I chewed up that end where I had tried to turn that corner and clamp it down fairly well. So I flipped it around so I could see the chewed up area a little better. Was able to clamp both ends of it fairly good. There were a couple small holes in it, and so I used some duct work tape to cover that up, patch them holes. And I'll say that I learned to not stretch out some of this expandable hose, except for on the ends. Okay guys, so of course this sleeve was over top of our original hose, which was a 1/4 inch smaller. It was very hard to get on there. I really wanted to go ahead and put it on though. I thought about leaving it off. Not so worried about the hose, but there was the wiring to the blower motor and the sail switch in here, and probably inconsequential, but I figured if anything, this is a slight heat shield. So like, even though there was a pretty decent gap, because I squeezed it, and if you, I don't know if you could see in the time lapse, it was moving fast, but there's a little bit of a gap along there. It's kind of squeezed in. It's screwed down on the bottom, screwed down here, and then I just kind of, there's that piece that slid up on there. I used those needle nose pliers and pushed it so it's wedged and it's holding. So that's why I'm using this duct, the air duct tape on here. Yeah, there's a gap right there, but I mean, again, we have this collar and all that stuff, and I don't think it'll be a big deal. I'm very confident with this tape it will not be a big deal now. So I was just, you know, being safe rather than sorry. Just trying to cover all my bases, put it back as close to as I originally could. Checked my line pretty good. Didn't my hose line. There's no crimps over here or anything. Okay guys, so I'm real excited. It's time to go ahead and hook this back up and see if this furnace works. Real quick, I want to point out I ended that time lapse putting this air intake cover back on. I actually had to check from when I originally took it off to see which direction that these louvers, or whatever you want to call them, went, and it makes sense. They point this direction, and I was kind of thinking they might, although I put it on backwards honestly and had to redo it. And that's probably because if it pointed back, one, you're going towards the back wall of the camper, but two, you're going near the exhaust, because of course that's our exhaust pipe. So it's pointed forwards, just pointing that out. So this was the first time since day one that I was able to hook this back up, so I didn't know if it was going to work or not. I didn't hook the duct work up to it or anything. I didn't mess with the exterior. I just put the exhaust out the back end, connected the wires and the gas line, and it was time to test it out. All right, the moment of truth, guys. Time to try and start this up. So I want to point out I have a carbon monoxide detector here with me. I am going to do actually, I don't know that this is open. I don't think it's open yet. We're going to put some leak detector on here. We're going to try to start this up. How's our breaker? Our breaker's good. It hasn't tripped. So we're going to start up here. We're going to turn it on. And then we turn the pilot, this thermostat down here on. We have a normal thermostat on the wall. We turn it on. Turn it all the way up. I'm not seeing any gas leaks. Either there's no gas in there. That's a big win. We've never had that blower go, so we fixed that. Now, the next thing is, will that pilot light and will we get heat? Do you hear that? I see a blue flame in there. I know. I think it's lighting, guys. I think it works. I'm gonna reach my hand in this side. All right, so I could feel that air blowing. I know that you can't tell or see anything. Let's see here. It definitely smells like a furnace is going right now. It doesn't smell like gas. I can smell that. You can see that pilot going. The air that's hitting my hand right now is gradually warming up. Going back here, it does not look like we have any gas leaks, which is good. That was a pretty simple fitting. This air is warm. We got it, guys. I'm so stoked. I know that, so our basic problem really boiled down to mud daubers. Mud daubers stopped that motor from spinning. Yeah, we have hot air. I don't have a temperature gauge for you. I can't, you know, tell you that, but my hands, that's hot air blowing on them. This side, warm too. I'm so stoked. Carbon monoxide detector I just tested, so, and I'm gonna never use this thing without having one or two in the camper. I do need to get everything back together because my exhaust is poking out the back there, but I don't have that other piece on, so I'm gonna turn it off. We know it works. So now I'm gonna go up here to the thermostat and just turn this guy off. The blower's still going. Obviously the pilot kicked off, so we don't have any more heat. That's just keeping it from getting too hot. I didn't see any issues there. We'll turn this off. And I think it'll shut off after it gets to a sustainable temperature and there we go. Awesome. Now that I know everything works, I have to hook this thing up all the way and reinstall it permanently. So of course I had to disconnect the gas line and pull it out a little bit to get that flexible duct on the right side put back in. I ordered some vent covers, if you will, off Amazon. So I put one on there, went to the left side, put the gas line back on, put that ductwork on, spent way more time and effort on it than I thought it should have taken, but I got them. And then I made sure all the wire nuts were secured the way they properly should be, got some electrical tape, and then taped around them so that they would stay as they are. Now it's time to move on to the exterior work. Alright guys, we are back where we began this journey on this furnace. First we're going to go ahead and just use some of this Goo Gone spray and spray this area. I may not need it, I might have been able to peel it off regardless. But just going to put that on there. You know, unfortunate side effect too. I put duct tape over this for like the last 2 weeks while we were working on it, and I didn't even think about the duct tape sticking. So I do have some razor blades. I might have to scrape some of that off. But anyways, we're just gonna try to get all the gunk off of here so we can get this thing reattached. So this sealant's coming off very, very easily. Probably didn't even need the Goo Gone, honestly. Well, it doesn't hurt, but so I'm actually scratching the paint a little bit and stuff. Not the best idea. I'm actually not going to worry anymore. I got this. In fact, that's rubbing off with that Goo Gone. So I'm going to get a washcloth. Yeah, I don't need to mess with that any more than that, honestly. So I do need to, actually, let's see if we can get this off, how that's going to go. All right, that's just peeling off of this one. So we're actually, yeah, I don't need to worry about any more Goo Gone. The tape, I'm gonna, even when I hate, you know, leaving it through the winter, but I'm gonna pressure wash this, I think, one more time in the spring, and we will take care of that. With that, I think that might be best. Okay, there you go. Now you can wipe the camper off. I'm not gonna seal this in here yet. I am gonna try to dry fit it. So I just remembered these tabs were down, so I gotta switch. Aha! Alright guys, so we are ready to put this back together and be done, and this be a complete project. We already know the furnace works. So to clean up this area, get rid of any residue, I was going to use alcohol, and then I decided against it because I am planning on running the furnace as soon as I'm done. Just didn't want that mixture. I know it should dry out, and that's part of the advantage, is it dries really quick. But I was like, so I just used some soapy water, some Dawn dish soap. As far as sealing this up, I went to several forums and I looked into it. Jayco, I guess there are some guys that said that the Jayco company uses Proflex, you know, different types of sealant and adhesive that are higher temperature. I will point out that if there's much temperature on the exterior here, that would be damaging your siding of your camper. Obviously that's not the case. This is just housing to actually protect. This pipe is what gets hot. This one I was kind of wondering about, but so anyways, I know I'm kind of rambling. So I called a local RV sales place and repair and maintenance and talked to one of the service members that actually works on furnaces, and he told me that butyl tape is what they all use now. He said butyl tape will be totally fine. I've seen a few people on some of the internet forums say butyl tape is not good. I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you, the guy that works on them all the time in a local place told me butyl tape was good. And so I even asked about the heat and the temperature, and he said, nope, it's good. So I went to my local hardware place, lumber yard, because I didn't have time to order it. Well, I didn't want to wait to order any off the internet, to be honest with you. So I got some metal roofing butyl tape. It's you know, it's designed for metal roofing, and I got thinking in my head, I'm like, you know what, this is metal to metal, all these parts, that makes sense. That's probably partially why we use butyl tape. So anyways, the area's clean. I've been talking and telling you why I'm using butyl tape, so let's go ahead and get her going. And I'm gonna start with the sides and then come over the top so that I can, you know, come over top of it. I should have left a screwdriver with me, but I didn't think to. I did use some pliers as well, and since I had kind of torn this up, I bent that back into shape a little bit. I've got a little small hammer here, multi-head hammer, to kind of tap it together. So I definitely should have gotten a piece of cardboard and sat on the ground today. Never thought of it, and I've been regretting it ever since. Okay, I can actually tear that. I didn't know if it'd tear or not, so I've been using that utility knife, and I definitely didn't have to. I'm going to put some more on the sides because there's a bit of a gap there. Put some more on the bottom. Again, there's a decent gap. When I do put this plate on though and screw it down, I think that will help seal this all in a little better. So nonetheless, I'm going to try to do as good of a job as I can of preventing this from... I'd say we have a good seal on the top. That's probably what's most important. And then we're going to put this plate over, and that will cover a lot of the rest of that. And I realized I was holding you guys. I'll just show you when we're done. How about that? So now I'm going to apply some butyl tape to this plate. Doesn't look the greatest, but I'm going to put a little bit more on the top, over the top of it, because I just do not want this leaking. I don't want to rot that inside. I do think with the two pieces we're going to be in good shape. We'll be just fine. And now one last thing. Those mud daubers were really what started this whole thing. We don't want that again. I could almost go on the outside with this one. Actually, I think I need to. This is not how they normally are. You usually would put these on the inside. Well, we'll try it the inside. We'll try it the right way, because we'll have to see if that's gonna create a good tight seal or not. All right, we got our two little metal clips hanging here. Now we come up here, stick your tool through. See, it slides off. That's exactly what people talk about. All right, so now I got a hold of that spring. I'm grabbing. Oh my Lanta. All right, you know what? We are going to try it from the outside. Like I said, that's normally how it goes. but this cover is so much bigger than our exhaust port. You would normally hook that through the bottom, and this might be a manner that it's going to come off, fall off. I don't know, but for today, we're going to try this, so I can show you guys the janky, not right way to do this. Over there. So now, and I mean, there's a gap underneath here. That's not perfect, but it covers it up. I mean, some. So there's that. So I want to show you guys that I've got plenty of butyl tape on the top. It doesn't look pretty, but we would have to have some kind of amazing rain to get significant water in there to do any damage, I believe. The sides, it's not gonna, I mean, it could run down it. I don't see that affecting things. And that's how the outside looks. All right, guys, so we are done. Everything is hooked up. The only thing not on is the cover plate. I do have some more of this leak detector on that propane line just to double check it. Not seeing any bubbles right now. Actually, let me leave this. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I have one window cracked. I'm about to turn it on. You see our carbon monoxide detector in here. I'm going to take the temperature right there in front of us. 52 degrees. I guess that's how it works. This is brand new to me. I'm going to turn this furnace on. I'm going to leave it on for about 30 minutes. We got the carbon monoxide detector. I'm not going to be in here. And then I'm going to come back and we're just going to see what the camper feels like, what that ductwork temperature is right there, and all that good stuff. I got scared there for a minute, I'm going to be honest with you. Just waiting for that right there. Did you hear that? You probably didn't because this microphone's towards you. We just heard the little click click, and then you could hear the propane, the igniter go, and the burner blowing. If I put you guys, yep, you see that there to show you that that's going. I'm just gonna leave this go, leave it be for now. Actually, might as well do this real quick once. We're already up to 67 degrees, so that's just showing you it's definitely working. 68 degrees, and we'll come back in just a little bit. I've never come into the camper in winter and it been warm in here. I've had this furnace running for about 20 minutes. Just wanted to see how it did. Let me turn this light on, because first things first. Oh, well, it's all dried now, but I didn't see any leaks, any propane leaks. We have a carbon monoxide detector right there going. It's nice and toasty warm. Let's see what this says. 170 degrees. Obviously, it's not 170 in here, but that's what's coming out of there. The room's probably, I mean, it's probably 70 in here. 75. It's about 50 outside, so it's not that big of a deal. Even all the way back here, it's a little warmer. And there's that one duct that comes all the way through this camper. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. From there, travels under all of this to here. And yeah, I mean, coming out of that, it's blowing 81 degrees. Obviously, that's a long way for it to travel. But I'm happy. Our furnace works. So this is what it's about for me, guys. This is what my channel's all about. I understand that literally the only thing that was wrong with this furnace was that a mud dauber nest had gotten into that motor, that blower motor, and shut it down. But if you're anything like me, like, that was pretty intimidating. I had no idea what I was getting into. Old me probably would have taken it to an RV, you know, place and had it worked on for a couple $100, and they would have ended up just, like, you know, servicing it, looking at it, taking it apart. I'm thrilled that I was able to solve this problem. I got everything back together. I would say we improved it. It's really clean in there now. We got some new vents. We sealed up, you know, that hose was really old and brittle that was on there. We got a better hose on there now. It's got a good seal to it. We got good air blowing through. I understand it's only 50 degrees out today, but to come in here and it's warm, I'm thrilled. So this was a huge success for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.